Welcome to Hi Alchemist. I am your host Chakra and I am here to enlighten you. Today we're going to be talking about the mind. What is the mind? To really look at the mind, we have to go past the head and the brain and into what is the mind. The brain and the mind are different but the same. Kind of like when we sleep, for example, we turn our minds off, but our brains are still here and on, or else we wouldn't be able to breathe very well. Quick question, if our brains and bodies are still here while we sleep, where do we go? We always have to be somewhere in our heads to remember things as they go down, right? But for the most part, we have no memory of when we sleep, and when we do, it's in bits and pieces of a dream. But just because it's a dream and it's all happening in your head doesn't mean it's not real. I think that's why people say follow your dreams, because if you do, they will become your reality. So the mind can be like a wave and a particle at the same time, right? Kind of like I think, therefore I am. Try to imagine a marker and whiteboard before they invented them. All we had back then were chalkboards. It would be difficult to imagine a whiteboard and marker before someone actually invented it. Forged in the fires of the mind, you see everything that is before you. We must be creative. I encourage you to watch Dr. Quantum's double slit experiment. I feel like this experiment captures a lot of what the mind is. Let's imagine a hologram machine that is somehow connected to your body to the point where whatever comes into your brain and whatever you see around you is projected in a 3D real-time holographic display. The mind can be your vision and other senses which take everything around you and project it inside your head to give you an idea of where you are and what is around you, both visible and invisible, using your eyes and your third eye, where they work together with your infinite now and your infinite spirit and soul power. So the reality around you projects itself through the senses and into your brain, then into your mind. And that's what I think it basically means to be here and now. I think that everything your eyes or senses see is not exactly everything that you are aware of. We all have a focus point in our vision and in our minds, and for those people who have trained their eyes and minds to have bigger focus points or have a photographic memory, have the power of the mind and higher consciousness unleashed upon them. But like Spider-Man's uncle once said, with great power comes great responsibility. The mind, just like consciousness, can be thought of as outside the brain. Nazim Aramein once said that looking for consciousness in the brain is like looking inside the radio for the announcer. If you don't know Nazim Aramein, check him out. He talks about some dope things. I'll put some links down in the description. Now let's think about when someone is daydreaming. You're sitting there in the classroom, but mentally you may be in Tahiti, sipping on something cold, and it's like in the back of your mind, you can actually see it. But then all of a sudden you snap back to reality and you're back in the classroom taking notes. Now let's think about breathing. You weren't aware of your breathing until you thought about it. Being aware of it, then it leaves into your subconscious mind from your conscious mind, and then you breathe automatically again, subconsciously. The simple act of the unconscious versus conscious mind should give you an idea of the power of your mind. If we are all made of atoms and we are conscious of that in our minds through our brains, and our brains are made up of some matter, and all that matter is nerves and neurons firing electricity, and that's literally how we think, then you are nothing but electrical thoughts and chemical reactions. You are a high alchemist with chakras who can reach enlightenment. Everything is energy, frequency, and vibration, including the mind. We need to realize that and realize what is not making us experience that energetic reality 24/7. Now let's take a look at the power of the mind again. There are some people in parts of the world that can meditate and literally levitate in mid-air because of the power of their mind and the strong connection they have to this reality. We often see the dark side of this in movies where instead of meditation, it's possession, and people are levitating in a negative state of mind instead of a positive state of mind. We need to take care of our light side and our dark side and balance the two accordingly in our bodies, in our brains, and in our minds. Because I believe that the body has three minds: the brain's mind, the heart's mind, and the stomach's mind. And they are all important to balancing out the carbon-based life form of existence that we are here on Earth. So we can chemically balance in our emotions and our intentions with the good, the bad, the life, the death, the light, and the dark. These aren't times to be on the fence. You need to know yourself, know who you are, look in the mirror, and get to know yourself really, really well. Enough of all these distractions going on in the world, and in my opinion, many of which are damn near orchestrated into existence by beings and entities who pay no mind at all to the betterment of humanity as a whole and our path into the future. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, as you can clearly see, but not on my energy, frequency, and vibration. This has always been my mission since before I was born and long after I am gone, to light up the darkness and enlighten humans to the best of my ability and make sure that you realize that your mind can be limitless and you can control your body, mind, and destiny. I think that the brain and the mind are connected to your infinite consciousness, possibilities, and future outcomes, to the higher power that put us all here, regardless of what religion you think you might be part of, or whatever you think about why you live and who put you here. The fact is, someone or something made you, and you have a mind to think. It's a domino effect. Your parents use their minds and actions of love to make you, and you are alive. You have a mind. You can make up your own mind, and that's important. Beware of everything you take in through your senses. Question everything at least 3 times, because if you do, I think that you can be wiser. Even if I say it, question it, especially if I say it, question it. Research your own information so you can make up your own mind and fill it with organic thoughts cultivated by real results. It doesn't matter if it's in a religious book or online in some YouTube channel. This day and age, we are living in the age of information, where it is very important to the human mind and psyche to think before it's damn near illegal, right? We are all free, we have free will, and we are living in a time where the old world is meeting the new world again. And I feel like if we don't guard our minds from evil things, and if we don't act and aren't aware of our actions and the consequences that those actions have on society and the world as a whole, then we might get lost along the way. I always like to say, whenever I feel like I know everything and I can see the bigger picture, I check myself and I step back and try to think more, because I know that I know absolutely nothing. And that's how I'm able to know what I do know, because that humbleness is very important and it enables you to continue to learn. And time is a very, very important aspect as well of the mind. And if you can't put yourself in somebody else's shoes and see things differently, then in my opinion, you are limited in perspective and insight, because they say that there are 3 sides to the story: history, her story, and actual history itself. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in my next video.